I have a Mean Girls story. I actually went to the high school that inspired the movie, The Mean Girls. So these were like legitimate mean girls. Here's the thing. Mean girls, they don't just become mean as soon as they walk into high school. They're usually mean before. And I had my first encounter when I was in junior high. And I was like the Lindsay Lohan character. I had just moved into this very wealthy neighborhood. I didn't get the memo on how I was supposed to dress, the shoes I was supposed to wear. I was like 11 years old. I had no fucking clue what I was doing. My parents, they were not wealthy. We got all of our clothes from stores that have since filed for bankruptcy and don't even exist anymore, like Venture, Kmart. I never even heard of stores like The Gap, okay? Like J. Crew. I didn't even know those existed. So I got to school in this new neighborhood and I was already terrified because nobody knew me and I had no friends. And I didn't know how to dress. I basically just wore whatever my parents bought for me. But here's the thing. I had one aunt, my youngest aunt, who was super stylish and like very fashion forward. And she was also very thrifty. Like nobody in my family is rich, by the way. And she bought all of her clothes from like bargain basement deals. But you know how like some people can take like the cheapest things and somehow put it together and make themselves look like super luxurious? That was my aunt. She was really, really good at that. Every single year for my birthday, my aunt would buy me an outfit. And I always loved whatever she bought me because A, it came from my aunt who I worshipped and adored as the style guru. B, it always made me feel like a little bit pretty and more stylish than, you know, whatever I was wearing. New Kids on the Block t-shirts. So one year my aunt buys me this really cute outfit. And this was like, you know, in 6th grade when I had just moved into this new wealthy neighborhood. And it was like this red kind of top, a sweater with a matching red skirt. Perfectly appropriate for an 11-year-old. Like there was nothing weird about it. So I wore it to school one morning and I remember feeling like I got a bunch of stares and looks, but of course, like because I'm 11 years old and I don't have a fucking clue, I just assumed people were admiring my birthday outfit. You know how that feels. You show up to school feeling extra special and a little bit more confident because you feel like you look good, right? And everybody's looking at me and I'm thinking, oh yeah, they must be admiring my outfit. A couple days later, I'm sitting in the girls' bathroom. You know, you're kind of like looking around because we didn't have phones back then. We had to just, you know, read whatever was on the stall wall. Well, I'm reading what's on the stall wall and all of a sudden I see Joanne Lee is a S-L-U-T. Slut. Just to give you a little flavor for what kind of kids I was actually going to school with, I remember I was in class once and this girl starts speaking in Spanish, right? She's not Spanish, she's not Latina. She starts speaking in fluent Spanish and the teacher's like amazed, like, how do you know so much Spanish so well? And she's like, oh, we go to Cabo every weekend in our private jet and I learned to speak Spanish that way. So I'm feeling absolutely mortified. I feel like I have failed everyone. I have failed myself. I have failed my family. I am not integrating into the school because I apparently didn't know how to dress and I was dressing inappropriately because I had dared to wear a skirt. And from that point on, I never wore that birthday outfit from my aunt again. And quite frankly, every single subsequent outfit that she bought me for many years, I kind of viewed a little sus. And eventually I discovered that it was the meanest of the mean girls, you know, the ringleader of the mean girls. She was the one who wrote Joanne Lee is a slut on the bathroom wall. But it wasn't because of the impropriety of my outfit. Nope, it was because the boy she had a crush on fancied the new girl. Here's the thing. I wish it were just about jealousy. It wasn't just about jealousy. It was that I didn't fit in any of the ways that I was supposed to. I didn't wear clothes from the Gap. I couldn't afford Levi's jeans or real Birkenstocks. I remember the first time I actually got to wear Birkenstocks, it was because I begged one of my friends if I could borrow them. Here's what I'm actually most embarrassed about. It's not the fact that I was called a slut or the fact that eventually I conformed to what everybody else told me was the norm. It was that I was ashamed of the things that my aunt had selected for me and bought out for me with so much love, that still hurts me to this day, some 3 decades later. My junior year in high school, I ended up going to South Korea for the first time in years, and I spent a lot of time with my onni, my cousin, and she teaches me how to dress the way they dress in Korea. And I show up back to my high school wearing bell-bottom flares and patent leather platforms and tight little jorties. The mean girls, including the one who called me a slut when I was in junior high, all of a sudden, she starts trying to imitate the way that I'm dressing. Not very well, by the way. That taught me so much. It taught me that sometimes if you push through people's reluctance or people's resistance to change, it actually can be a way of creating self-confidence and finding your own voice. And that's exactly what I did junior year and senior year in high school, and eventually even in law school and even in the practice of law. And by the way, mean girls don't disappear when you're in high school or even when you're in college. They follow you all the way through law school, at the law firm, in court, and here now in social media. I remember once I wore this dress. It was kind of like an Asian inspired dress, and one of my white female partners, she said, "Oh no, Joanne, you can't wear that to work. That's not appropriate." I have my whole life been told, not just from men, but from other women, what I can and cannot wear. And thanks to, in part, to the girl who called me a slut and all the many mean girls who lined up right behind her to try and keep me in my place. I have now gotten to that point in my life where I just don't give a fuck. I just want to look nice, wear the clothes that make me happy, and I will do my makeup however I freaking please. So to Sarah and all the other mean girls out there, because I know some of you now follow me here, I wish you well.